Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So last video we have seen with the cards, so like adding the report pages and objects, naming the group naming and grouping objects, cards and multi-row cards. So these things we have seen. So today's video we had to look into building and formatting the charts and the line charts. So trend lines and forecasts. So these things we had to see. So before looking into this one, the last video I have missed one thing, that is the selection part. So if you see the right side selection part is there. So this selection is disabled actually for my tool at the time. So how this one enable called as, if you click on this customize option. So once if so why I am telling this called as, so in your case, if this selection is to be disabled, we have to enable it. So this one, if you click on this customize option, so here, this one hiding. So once I'll all the hiding. So he see here the right side panel, this plus symbol is there, customize. So once you click on this customize, so these things we have to enable. So data already enabled it. So this data already enabled this one data. Next to build already enabled this one. And format, just now I have enabled. And copilot, if you require, you can enable it. So right now I have switch off this one. And bookmarks enable this one. This is the bookmarks and selection part. So this selection part, so while doing the last video in my tool, this selection is disabled. Okay, so I missed this option. So you have to enable it, and performance analyzer also you can enable it. And if you're hiding, just click on this option, it will hide. And filters, so filters will enable. If you want to click data, so data will enable. And build, next to format, next to performance analyzer, bookmarks, and selection part. So right now I'm talking about with the selection part. So this selection called as, so I'll tell. So once you click on this selection part, so here if you look into this layer order, shape, card, 4 cards are there, shapes, 4 shapes are there, and image is there. So what is this called as? So in this canvas, so in the reporting page, I had dragged first image. If you click on this image, see here, the image is to be selected here. Okay, so this image is this tool. So this image part, this selection is. So we'll rename this name also. So this rename, I will do like for image, I'll click on double click here, and I'll give as so AW logo, enter. So this is AW logo. And next thing, we have the shape. So this left side one, now background is there. So if I click on this, the left side bar, so the shape is enabled here. Click on this, double click here, and we'll give as this one left now background. Okay. Similarly, we have the background text boxes is there, 4 text boxes for these 4 cards. So I'll select this card. Similarly, select this card, this one, and this one. Sorry, missing. Okay, so now see these 4 cards are shapes. 4 shapes are selected. Okay, now for these 4 shapes, we have to right click here. See here, the options are group and format. So we'll have to do group. So why I'm doing this group called as, so easily to identify this. So later, if we need any additions, edit options, we have to edit this one, and double click this group, and we have to edit this group name, API backgrounds. Okay, so this is the naming and grouping the objects. So this is, and other things is there, that is card, these cards. So for these cards, we have to give as so first select with these cards. Okay, so I have selected with 4 cards. So 4 cards are selected. Now I will do one thing. So right click group. So this one group, and we'll give this group name. We have to give as like KPI values. Done, right? So this is the way we have to do like KPI backgrounds, KPI values, like so and so. Similarly, we have to do like here also these things. So Actually, we had to do this earlier. We are copying pasting at the time we had to do. So anyway, right now also we had to do, no problem. So what I can do is, so here I will do one thing. I'll select as these two parts, this one and this one. We'll do grouping here. So to right click group. So this grouping called as, so I'll give a like KPI values. This is in this page, like in this page called as, so customer detail page. Similar way, I'll do like select the background text shape group, and this one will give as, so KPI background. Okay. Now I'll select as the left side nav bar and change this one. Left nav background. Okay. Done. Then product detail, customer detail, and executive dashboard. So in this executive dashboard, I'll look into now for line chart. So line chart, how we had to draw. So click on insert. So in the insert, we have the line chart, this option. So just click on this line chart. So line chart is digging this one. So we had to place this as here and expand this one some little bit. Okay. So for this line chart, I will give as like for x-axis, I will go with start of week, x-axis, and I'll move to y-axis as total revenue. Okay, see here, the chart is came. For x-axis, I have given start of week, y-axis is total revenue. So this is beautifully the line chart is came. Now I'll do one thing. I had to do with format. So here the format option is there. So click on this format and check this one. So add to your visual. So title. So this title is available. Total revenue by start of week. Zoom slider and x-axis. If we click on more options here, it will show us so title x-axis and y-axis, secondary x-axis, zoom slider. These options are all showing. And I'll do one thing. So in this title is there, right? So in the empty space is there. So if you click on this, double click here, it will edit the title, and these options. The title edit option is will be enabled. So double click in the any blank area here. Just double click in this blank area, total revenue, and total revenue by start week, start of week. So these things, start of week, I don't want. I'll remove this part. Select and delete. Right click and delete. Okay. So I have removed with the left side and bottom, x-axis and y-axis titles. Now I'll go with title. So for title, I'll go with here option is there. We have to title, enable this one. So title text is auto. So for this auto option, I'll give as the title like weekly revenue. Okay. So weekly revenue and sorry, this is something y-axis title. This one I'll stop this one. This is not required. I'll so for this title is not required. So above title option is there here. We have to give this one as the title called as so weekly revenue. Weekly revenue. Okay. And heading part. Heading I'll choose as 3, and font I'll go with font sig and size. So we'll give 10. Okay. See here, weekly revenue title came, and add x-axis title. This one I'll remove this part. title of. Next, so for in this title, I'll go with other options. So this title, bold text, italic, underline, text color, and background color, horizontal alignment, center. Okay. Next, we'll look into zoom slider. So zoom slider we'll look into. So we'll switch on this one. Zoom slider. See here, x-axis and y-axis. Zoom slider is came. I don't want for zoom slider for y-axis. I'll switch off this zoom slider y-axis, and we'll look into lines. So this lines called as apply the settings series all and line style solid, join type round, width and color also. So this is the line color. So for line color, we'll give gray color. Okay. And any other options? Lines, line style and color, shaded area. Okay. Next, we'll look into. So this chart is to be in the edit option mode. So if you click on any other white space area, the chart will disable the what we say uh, the edit mode. If we click on this one, so now chart is looking this way. Okay. Now I will look into some chart properties options. So these properties we had to look into some tooltips. So click on properties and tooltips is on, but tooltip is not showing right here. Okay, we'll look into this one. Tooltips, we'll go with options, type report page. So by default, okay, so tooltip is showing here now. So default tooltip. So this little bit will change as the colors and something. So I'll go with text. Label color is so I'll select as label color white, and value color I'll select as something 10 BFF, some different light to blue color type, and drill text is so we'll select as white. Now we'll look into this part. See here. Okay, and now background will just a little bit transparency will do. Background is color this gray type. Okay, now this one fine, and transparent little bit transparency will do 10%. Now we look into this, right? So something beautifully we had to do like cosmetic changes. These are all okay. So this is the way we had to do with the line chart, all the properties and cosmetic changes, these options. And we had to look into some trend lines and forecasts. So come back to visual. Here trend lines option here also available. So trend line and forecast. You check with trend line. Here the trend line option is enabled and trend line is came, and forecast. So this is the forecast option. Okay. So this way we have to format to the trend line and forecast. Now click on with more options. So this one, this trend lines we have to look. So for this trend line, I'll go with there is the trend line. Yeah. So go with the trend line. Here we have the options. So color. So color is so we have to select, and transparency. So how much transparency this trend line? I'll select as trend line 75%. 70 little bit slide. Okay. The dashes transparency done, and forecast. So forecast, click on this forecast, and for this forecast options are here: units, points, forecast length, confidence interval, and ignore the last. So ignore the last, we just give 1 point, and confidence interval. So confidence interval 95% is available. Just select the sum in 85%. This length is to be changing. Okay, and once we have to click on this apply, so this length is changing, right? Observe this one. Okay, and so this is the recording with completely the line chart and trend lines and forecast. Now we'll look into another line chart in the customer detail. So this customer detail to build the line chart, already we have edited and some textual things we had done this one. Okay, so for this same chart we had to copy and paste in the customer detail, and just little bit changes we had to do. That is the one way, or else from the starting onwards we had to build again. So we'll look into this one. Now I'll select as this chart and copy, move to customer detail. Okay, here I'll paste it. See here, the chart is to be pasted. Now I'll drag to this little bit here. Okay, and now I will move to this data part. So for this data part, existing chart I had done, right? Now for this one, I'll go with x-axis is same, and for y-axis I'll change it to total revenue to total customers. Okay. See. Okay, the line is to be changing, right? So I'll go with the format option, more options. So here in this line options, lines, so I will go with here lines color. So color we had to select as gray color. Okay, simple thing. And title we had to change. So for title, earlier one is revenue, right? So title will give us weekly customers. Okay. So this is the one way we have to do some little bit changes and build with the chart. Okay. So if this is not available, again we have to build with the from the starting. Okay. So from the starting called as, so why this one hiding? Okay, let's see. So from this starting called as, again we have to build with insert and click on the line chart. So this line chart is came. Just little bit move to up here and drag to here. This one will move here, keep. Okay. Now here we have to add with first x-axis. So x-axis is we have to go with start of week, and what y-axis we had to select as total customers. Okay. And we had to format this one. So close this one and format. So in format we have one zoom slider and trend line. So trend line and select as zoom slider. Okay. And title. So right side we have to give the title. This one weekly customers. Okay. Then next for this title we'll give the font size 10 and select as Sego. Okay. And horizontal center. Then x-axis will look into x-axis is so range values. So for range values, so for example I'll give as font size 8 x-axis. And similarly for y-axis, values is little bit 8. Everything is to be same. And zoom slider. So this zoom slider for x-axis I want zoom slider, y-axis I don't want to. Just switch off this y-axis. And so this width, so width will give us 2 pixels, and color as will give gray color. Okay. And trend lines, so trend line will give so transparency trend line. So here this trend line fully is showing, right? Just I'll give as so transparency 75% transparency. And similarly double click in the chart and we'll remove this part, the left axis name and right axis bottom axis, x-axis and y-axis names where we had to remove it. And click on these properties, check with the tooltips. So here the tooltips is showing something, right? So now I'll go click on with tooltip. So type is by default one. Okay. And label color, select as white, value color, light blue, and drill color, white, background color, gray, give the transparency a little bit, 10%. click on this and check the tooltip. Okay, so similar thing, the same thing we have to build this one, right? So this way we have to do to build with the line chart. Okay, thank you for watching. So next video we'll meet another chart. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe. I'll do this complete dashboard I had to build. Okay, thank you for watching.